What's up everyone, Quinn here, and I'm back to talk to you about one of the most important aspects of personal finance, and that is investing your first $100 here in 2021. Now you can start using these suggestions to grow your wealth and get up to $10,000, $100,000, or even $1 million one day, just by incorporating some of these tips in this video.
We specialize in.
This isn't even the hard part.
Hit the next button. Ways of making money.
Many ways out there. Everybody's got a scheme and angle, but there's some that are just universal.
All right, so explain them then.
If you want to find out what those tips are, make sure to go hit the like button and subscribe to my channel and continue watching this video all the way through. Now let's jump in and get started. Number one is invest in the stock market. Now don't get me wrong, a lot of people are going to say, but investing $100 in the stock market isn't going to get you enough return. Now, yes, there is some truth to this, but hear me out. The point of investing your $100 in the stock market is not to turn that $100 into $1 million in a week, okay? The point is to specifically do this for the learning experience. Investing your $100 is the best, most direct, and most authentic real-world education you possibly can get from investing in the stock market. Yes, reading books about investing is a great way to learn more about personal finance and specifically investing, but actually putting your money into action will give you the real first-hand experience of trading in the stock market. You'll learn to follow the market and actually experience the feelings and emotions that come with investing your money as they fluctuate in value. You'll feel the doubt about stocks that aren't doing as well, you'll feel the greed from stocks that are overperforming, and you'll also feel the frustrations of any investments that are at a standstill. These are all the feelings and emotions that will impact how you invest your money. You'll get to learn about yourself, your investing habits, and actually start to understand the process. So I greatly encourage you to just take that $100 and invest it in the stock market. So how can you actually start investing in the stock market? Well, once you turn 18 years old and you have a social insurance number, more well known as a SIN number, you have the opportunity to open up a TFSA account, which is simply a tax-free savings account. Now the purpose of a TFSA account is to encourage people to invest in the market, and they make it appealing by making an account that you will not be taxed on, which means you can add additional money to it and also withdraw money with it being all tax-free. With the TFSA, you can only add an additional $6,000 each year to this account, but since we're only investing $100 right now, this isn't an issue for any of you. Now, once you've set up your TFSA, you're ready to start researching what kinds of stocks you want to invest in. Again, the point of investing this $100 in the stock market is just so that you can start to learn how the market works, what you want to trade, and just how you can start getting down the road of investing. If you make a bad choice with your investments, the worst thing that can happen is you lose your $100, and at the end of the day, for most of you, losing that $100 is not the end of the world. But the experience you had with those mistakes, how it made you feel, and being honest with yourself and asking the question, did I really know what I was doing, and did I research this enough to actually invest in it? All of these things in this experience will help you for the rest of your life as you start to invest more strategically and have more control over your money. Use that first $100 to start your investment education, not just to turn it into a big old pile of money. Not to say that if you start making money because you've made good choices in the stock market, to ignore them or throw them away, but just go into this experience with the mission of learning rather than making money. Now, another way to invest your money, which is arguably one of the most effective and profitable investing techniques, is investing in an index fund. For those of you who don't know what an index fund is, I'll give you some background. An index fund is basically a type of mutual fund, and simply put, a mutual fund is a pool of money that companies get from investors, which would be you and I, and they divide this pool of money into equally priced units. Every unit makes up a tiny slice of the whole fund, And every time you put money into the fund or take it out, you're buying and selling units. Now, an index fund works in this structure as well because it is a more specific type of mutual fund. But the main purpose of an index fund is to take the decision making out of your hand and for you to track a specific stock market index. Now, an index fund is a combination of every significant stock on the market put into one category. So instead of deciding what kinds of stocks to invest in, like I mentioned earlier in this video, in your index fund, you hold a very small portion of every significant stock and bond on the market, and you simply follow the stock market index. This kind of fund and investment has worked incredibly well throughout history because even with significant crashes in the market, over time the value always increases. Therefore, your index fund is likely to grow every single year. Now, for example, a great index fund to invest in is the S&P 500 Index Fund. This fund is basically a combination of the 500 biggest American companies, ranging from Google to Apple to Microsoft to Walmart and many, many more. Now, this fund specifically is great because over its time in history, it has increased an average of 10% each year. So if you want to get to an index fund, this is definitely one I would suggest. But there are a couple of things I want to note about index funds. Investing your $100 in an index fund is a very small amount, and if you just leave it there to grow, over 50 or 60 years, you may only turn that $100 into about $1,000. However, if you start with your $100 and you continue to put in $100 or $200 into that fund every year, after anywhere from 30 to 50 years, you could have up to $200,000 in that fund. And you would have made this money by not doing anything except putting an extra $100 or $200 into that fund each year. And if you don't understand, here's exactly how it works. Let's say you invest your $100 in the S&P 500 Index Fund. For the purpose of this example, we'll say that the fund increases 10% every single year. Now, you decide to invest an additional $200 annually into this fund, and you continue to do this for the next 50 years. Because of the extra money and the compound interest rate of 10% annually, after 50 years, your $100 will now be worth $244,520.79. Now, this is just an example, so doing this in real life may alter the outcome slightly depending on how much the fund increases every year. But in that 50 years, your money increased in value by 244,420%. Again, you did nothing with this fund except for adding an additional $200 to it per year. If you ask me, this is super easy money and a great way to invest your $100. But another important point to make is that this fund is amazing for people who either don't understand investing very well but still want to do it, or they just don't have the time or effort to put into researching different stocks and keeping track of it very closely. But in order to educate yourself and get a really good grasp on investing, I still encourage you to be very involved with your first investments and take the time to learn about it. That way you can learn in the most effective and efficient way possible and have complete control over your money. But now that I've gone into the nitty-gritty details of investing and how to do it, hopefully you feel more confident about your next steps and how to start investing your first $100. Hopefully you feel more confident about your next steps for investing and have a better understanding of what different things like a TFSA or an index fund are.
What we like to do at the end of this is just a quick show of hands. Please raise your hand if you feel like you've learned anything of value today.
Did you learn anything new? One, two, three.
Three people. Three people.
And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to go hit that like button and subscribe to my channel for more personal finance tips and tricks. I'll see you guys next time, and hopefully by then you've started investing your first $100 in 2021.